Hello and welcome to Theme Park Information. In today's show we've got a review for the Voyage, located at Holiday World, pretty much in the middle of nowhere in the USA unfortunately. Now this is one of the most anticipated roller coasters I went on during my entire trip, and in some ways I really enjoyed it, and in other ways it left a little bit to be desired as well. Overall it's really good, and I'll get to what I enjoyed in a minute. I will say though that my review kind of is very similar to the Airtime Thrills video, where he describes pretty much the same problems, pros and cons of it. So you could just watch that. So let's start with the pros, or what I like about it. It's a long, really well designed ride. It has a great layout. It utilises the terrain really perfectly. It does have a mid-course brake run, but again, that's not too bad. It has really good bank turns. It transitions really nicely. It's quite a forceful roller coaster. It's quite fast. It has good pacing. It ticks so many boxes, and the fact that you think you're coming up to the brake run and then it just keeps going and then going again. It was also running 2 trains with pretty decent operations. Love the fact there was no need to pay for a locker and stuff like that as well. On the downsides, this ride does go off pretty much into the woods, which is kind of a plus, but in terms of footage, which is why there's like 6 images of it, it's a real pain. Also, I did find it to be mostly smooth, but I did find that the lap bar was very easily jolted down slightly, and it meant that by the time I arrived back to the station, usually I wasn't just stapled where the lap bar was affecting me off with no airtime. I was actually, if you like, almost painfully trapped on the ride. Not quite, but like oh, I hope I'm not on this brake run for like 20 minutes type pain. Anyway, I also feel, as I said, this ride does have a distinct lack of airtime, despite having lots of airtime advertised, if you like. Apparently it has 22 or so seconds of airtime, and unfortunately it just doesn't deliver it most of the time. There are pops here and there, do not get me wrong. This isn't airtime-less, but it just leaves it where you're like, oh, why can't it be that little bit better? Why can't the hills be a little bit tighter, a little bit, maybe a little bit lower down, where I'd be sent out my seat more often than not. It just generally, I think, all comes down to the train design. It uses PTC trains, and they're just not as good as they should be, maybe. And also, it's missing like the last car as well, which is also really weird. It's amazing how many rides in America actually have like a car missing because they're being redesigned or the changes to the station. It's quite odd, but it just really lacks having that little bit of intensity and force in some parts as well. It's generally a really smooth, good roller coaster. I don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed it, and I'll put it this way: my personal opinion is it's better than the Beast, which I suppose is a ride very similar to it in some ways in terms of the length. But it's over 6,000 feet of track of pure fun, in fairness. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is a really fun, long, enjoyable ride. I went on it at the front row, the back row, and generally had a really good time. And I'd highly recommend going on it, and I'd highly love to go back and do it again. It's just a bit of a shame that it does have a few flaws. As for final score, and this is always a little bit awkward, and yes, I am bypassing the thing of reviewing every single section of it, because we'd be here all day. I'm just going to give it an overall score. I would say it's probably an 86 out of 100. Generally speaking, definitely really good. Very enjoyable, lots of positives. Not quite as good as I'd like it to be, but still really highly regarded in my opinion. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more content, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.